For sure. My co-host Laura is not available at the moment. She had to travel, and I'm left to steer the ship alone today and bring the show to you wherever you are. Thank you for always joining us. Thank you for always being part of this great show. I'd like to also let you know that I've got a great person in the house today. Of course, you guys know. You guys already know that I'll be bringing on the show, and I've got a lot of people calling me and sending me chat saying, "I know Anna. I know Anna. I always follow her on Instagram and all of that." And I'm like, "Yes, you're gonna see her today, and you're gonna hear live from her, and I'm gonna be speaking with her. As you know, it is a tradition on the show to talk a little bit about what's in the news before I bring Anna on. And just so you know, we're talking about sex today. It's something that a lot of people want to not talk about, but we just have to talk about it. It's very important. But we're going to have a few 30 seconds silence for the lives that have been lost in the Israel Hamas war, the Israel Palestinian war. It's a sad thing to see people die. War, it's not a good thing at all. So we're just going to have a 30 seconds break, short break, or a pause just to honor the lives that were lost. May the soul of the departed rest in peace. All right. So if you're watching, we're on the Friday Night Mix show. If you're on Facebook, on Instagram, make sure you're sharing and you're asking others to join because today we've got really, really, really interesting show for you. I'm a solo rider today. Laura is not with me, but she's also watching from wherever she is right now. She's really interested to know how the show would go today, and I'm interested to also talk to our special guest today, and to speak to her about very pressing issues. like special thanks to the Railbot Christian Television Network. Special thanks to Giotto Incorporation. Special thanks to David Agbola. These are all people who behind the scene are making things work and making things turn out as we want it to be. Remember, if you're on Instagram right now, and just let me confirm, are we on Instagram right now? We're on Instagram. If you're on Instagram, just go to Journey TV Show Instagram. We are live. Let me go there. We are live right now on Journey TV Show, and you can follow us there. You can drop a comment. You can leave a comment, like, share, subscribe, follow us on all of this social media handle. All right, without wasting much of our time anymore, let me bring to the stage the one we're waiting for. We've been waiting for. Let me clear my throat. So, she's known as the Soul Spice, the sex goddess. She's a certified clinical sexuality coach, and she's a master sexpert. Soul Spice, who's also an emotional intelligence and neuro linguistic practitioner, believes every human being should have a great sex life. Soul Spice has coached thousands of couples all around the world, and she's made a bold step to change the face of sex in Africa. She page on Instagram is Sex Talk with Soul Spice, and she's also a host of a late night show in Nigeria on DSTV 189. Um, she's doing exploit and doing so many lovely things around the topic we're talking about today. Ladies and gentlemen, please make welcome Soul Spice. I don't know why I kept my gong and everything that I normally use. So, Spice, welcome to the show. It's good to have you around this very moment. How are you doing?
I'm fantastic. I'm fine, and you?
I'm great. I'm great. Thank you so much for joining us on the show. Right now it's 12:35 in Nigeria, so you should be
Yeah.
sleeping, but you decided to join us on the show. Thank you so much for that, and God will bless you. So let's just dive straight into it. The topic today says let's talk about sex, and what other person are we? Should we be talking about sex if it's not So Spice, the sex goddess? Number one, let me just divulge some information. People don't know that I've known you since 2003, 2004. I think 2004.
I can't even remember.
I do remember because I got into Lasso in 2003, 2004, and I think we've been friends since then because I think you actually you had done like a program in Lasso before you then joined. Remind me.
You were that stubborn boy who would not, do. You didn't want to, join the initiation thing.
That's correct.
The religious.
The religiosity in me, right? I was a
Guy.
Christian
Yeah.
initiation. I'm like, I don't want to do it, but now I know
I'm a
better.
Christian. I can't do this.
Yes, and all right, let's just get into it. So, why did you? What fascinates you the most about sex? Because you're an expert in this conversation when it comes to sex. What's the intriguing thing for you when it comes to sex?
For me, I feel sex is life, and I think the most painful part for me is the fact that as a Christian, knowing that sex came from our father, we are the ones who are not exploring it enough. We as believers, I feel sex is a sacred thing, and there is a reason why God made and created sex to be in marriage, right?
Yeah.
But if you really look at it deep down, you'll find out that I remember a pastor was saying sometime, I saw it on social media when he said, "Oh, don't have sex is what we shout before you get married." And then when you get married as Christians, we are saying, "Oh, have sex."
Mm,
Right? So you find out that as Christians, we have less sex in marriage, right? Which is not what God has created sex to be. He created sex for us to explore, to be adventurous, to be creative, to enjoy, our lives as a couple. But then when you look at it basically, how many married people are actually having sex
mm,
together?
mm,
That's the question. Because statistics say for every three couples you see, only one is actually having sex. So what happens to the remaining two? So which means if we have 12 people, we are saying that only three people, right? Three couples are having sex and the remaining um couples are not having sex,
mm.
and that's not what sex is supposed to be. You are supposed to be married to have sex because you've been asked to wait to have sex in marriage. So why would you now be married and you're not having that sex? That's the problem.
Being an expert when it comes to sex, what do you think is the reason why? Because I also saw that video, and the pastor was saying, "We tell the youth, the unmarried, please don't have sex, please don't have sex, please don't have sex," and we say that every time, and then we
Yeah,
have to also tell the married, please have sex,
have sex.
please have sex. So what's the reason why once you get into marriage, for some people that I've spoken with, like the first year might be great, but suddenly, all of a sudden, it's just starts to go south from there. As a sex expert, what have you found to be the reason that that is happening in marriages?
So we realized that there are three stages in life, right? Especially for the married couples, there are three levels to marriage, and a lot of people just will not transit
Hmm,
from where they are. So when you meet someone, you find out that when you meet your partner, you fall in love, you can't do without them. So that's the space of falling in love,
hmm,
right? And then after that, you find out that the moment you get married, the moment you walk down the aisle,
hmm,
everything changes. There's no more, oh, I can't wait to see him. He's gonna see him tomorrow. Oh, every time you're going to see him, you're well dressed, you're looking good, you go out on dates, dinner, lunch, whatever. You look forward to that call, you look forward to chatting all through the night, you look forward to picking me up after work, taking me home before you go back, regardless of the distance, all in the name of I'm in love. And then you walk down the aisle and reality starts to set in. That fine boy that is always well dressed, that smells nice, you find out that when he comes back home, he dumps his shoes by the door. When he comes back home, he probably won't flush the toilet after himself. When he comes back home, he doesn't want to do the dishes. He just wants to sit and watch TV while you get back from work late and you have to make him dinner and he's just crossing his leg. And then after eating, you still have to go and pack the dishes to do the dishes. You do laundry. And then when it's time for you to go to bed, he wants to climb as the husband that he is. So it's no longer date night. It's no longer lunch dates. It's now I have to cook. I have to clean, right? And so what we forget is the moment you walk down the aisle, you have to now, you don't have to fall in love anymore. You have to stand up to walk in love. And so the moment you get married, you have to start to walk in love. And that's where a lot of people miss it out. We want to keep falling. We want to stay flat on the floor. I'm in love. I can't do anything. He loves me. He has to do everything for me. Or because he loves me, anything I want, I have to get. But you see, in marriage, you have to learn to walk with that person in love, which means you learn every good and every bad of that person. You have to learn to manage that person. You have to learn to control. You have to learn, to love. You have to learn to respect, right? And so during that phase of walking in love, before you know you get pregnant, babies come, and then you start to share your emotions. It's no longer for now anymore. It's now, oh, I have a baby. And then the moment the baby lands, it's a different thing when you're pregnant. Oh, you have diverted emotions, right? Oh, you think of your baby and everything. You want to eat right, you want to do everything right. But when the baby arrives, you realize that when you wake up, the first thing you want to see is no longer your partner, but your baby. You want to kiss your baby. So you kiss your baby more than you kiss your partner. You are no longer interested in sex at that point because your priority is the baby. Before you know, you extend it. You're no longer interested in going out on a date because you have a baby. And then you're thinking, oh, I have to give my baby all the attention for the next 1 to 2 years. Forgetting that you were once a lover before you became a mother or a father. And so we get to that point where we wear the outfit of motherhood and fatherhood and we take out that of loverhood. And so the lover in us most times does not exist again. When we talk about walking in love, we now become father and mother. And so every time Folau is calling me, the first thing he's saying is, oh, how's the baby? Not how are you, my love?
How are
Is the
you?
baby okay? Right? And so you start to divert your attention from your partner to that of the new life both of you have created, rather than fix yourself first, because that life would never have been there without both of you. And so during the time of walking in love, if you miss it, you never get to the third phase, which is living in love. And so you get to live in love when those lovers.
I think we're having a little bit of connection issue. Can you still hear us? Hear me? Yeah. She will try and connect back to us, but it's very imperative what you've said. What Hannah said there. Because we can all see that once you get into marriage, like priorities change, and once that happens, it's always an issue to sometime even get back to that. And I was gonna ask Anna the next question, which is that if that happens, I mean, because I really want us to get practical on this show, and we can also join. We can wherever you're listening from, if you have questions for us, if you have any addition, you can send in comments on Facebook, Instagram, wherever you're right now. Send in comments, send in questions for Anna when she connects back. But I was going to talk about The thing is, I also studied about sex a bit. It's says it's an orgasm. When you have an orgasm, your body gives a natural high. You release endorphins, which are hormones that block pain and make you feel good. I wanted to talk to Anna about that, but let's see if she's going to connect back. She's mute. Is she back or just mute? She's come back. Okay, so we would, yeah. Anna, you back? Can you hear me? Okay, still kind of connecting. All right, yeah. So if you, I can, yeah, on Instagram right now, you can join us. Don't join me on Fola for Lagos because that's not on. Where you can join is Journey TV show. So Journey is JOURNEY and then show together, all one word. Just search for it and connect with us there, and you can leave your messages. Marie, I see you. You said here on Instagram. Thank you so much for joining. Anna is back. Anna, the internet went away. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I had to change my internet. Sorry, this is Niger for you.
Sorry, I
That's one
know.
of the things you go through. So I had to just change totally just to be on the same side, right? So I was talking about walking in love, living in love, and falling in love. And so the last stage is where you get to live in love. And like I said, if you miss out during the walk in love time because you give the attention more to the kids, then you won't be able to live in love, because at that point in time when you are old, the kids are out, they are also in love. They are not bothered about you anymore. They are living their life because of course they just met someone new and it's all about the person, just like you did
Just
years
like you
ago,
did.
right? You find that you are now roommates, you are flatmates. There is nothing to talk about. There is nothing there you want to share, because it has always been about the kids, the kids. But now the kids are no longer there. So what I would say is people need to hold on to their time of walking in love. You
Mm,
can't get married once in marriage. Nah, it's not possible. We think once we walk down the aisle once, that's it. No, that's just the beginning.
mm.
You have to learn to fall in love and get married again and again and again in marriage.
So let's get practical.
Mhm.
Okay, let's get practical. Now, I'm a couple. I'm married for 5 years. I feel like my husband doesn't love me anymore. He doesn't really touch me anymore. I mean, because we're still going to come to how often should couples, make love. But before we get there, he doesn't just touch me anymore. Yeah, I had a baby 2 years ago, but the baby's 2 years now. He loves the baby more. Our sex life is just dry. As a sexpert, and I know this, you charge people to, for what I'm going to ask you, but you're on my show. This is the benefit of being on my show.
Of course,
What?
everything is free here.
Yeah, everything is free here. Give me two practical things I can do as a man that I'm no more sexually attracted to my wife. Maybe because because she gave birth, she's no more looking the way I've envisaged her to be in the past. Maybe for whatever reason, stress at work, career change, relocation change, whatever it is that has happened, that has made me now not just interested in this woman I see in front of me anymore. Give us practical lessons that we can. What can I do as a man, or what can I do as a woman to build that? Because you said one of the things you said was hold on to the love when it started. Hold on
Mm.
to that experience. What are the practical ways that I can do that?
Okay, so the first thing as a man is, okay, you're no longer attracted to your wife. The question is, what does love mean to you? A lot of times men marry, because she's presentable.
Mm,
She's got the figure, she's good looking. But you see, that figure will change. It's not might. That figure will change,
it's not a matter
whether
of
you like it or
might.
not. It's not a matter of might. It will change,
Mm,
right? So it's easier for men because you don't go through the process
mm.
of childbirth, right? The max you see a man do is probably add weight and have pot
Pot
belly,
belly.
right? But you see, for a woman, it's different. Hormones run through us, right? You get pregnant. I remember during my first pregnancy, I was terrible, right?
Mm,
When I say terrible, I mean, I added so much weight. I moved from like a size like I think I was size 10. I moved to like a size 18.
Jesus.
I was big, I was dark, no, it was so
Yeah.
bad that mirror was an enemy. I couldn't look at myself in the mirror. And I remember my husband always say, "Oh, don't worry, you're still pretty, you're still pretty." But trust me, when I put to bed, this man told me point blank that, "Babe, you were ugly." But I didn't want you to that you were really ugly. It was that bad. Now, the truth is, that point alone was enough for him to get turned off. Because even me, myself, I knew I was ugly from
Even
what I
you
was
turn
seeing.
yourself
But
off.
it was a process. It was a process. So for a man, you need to go back to, why am I married to this person? But you see, most times it's not really about the looks. Most times we need to go back to the foundation of why you are no longer attracted to that person. For men, most times it's usually respect. She doesn't respect me. So the things you probably would say before that, she will say, "Okay, my love," right? The things he would do before that, she would say, "Okay, my love." So for instance, you have a partner who goes clubbing or who stays late night with his friends. And whilst you're dating, you're like, "Oh, he has friends. He goes out at night, and then when he's coming back, he's buying you fish, he's buying you shawarma, you're enjoying it." You see, when baby comes and reality sets in, that late night will be a problem. The late night you used to approve of, the late night you were proud of because you were getting one or two things, would be a problem. Because for you, why are you out when we have a baby? You should be home to nurse this baby with me. And then the man is wondering, "But you've always been okay with me going out. So why is it a problem now? Oh, now you want to monitor me. Oh, now you want to control me. Oh, now you want to tell me what to do and what not to do. Oh, now you think I'm cheating on you. Oh, now you think I can't be with my friends anymore because I'm married to you." And so unconsciously, we start to throw dirt in the sink. You get angry, you don't talk about it, you don't trash it, you leave it in the sink. "I don't want problem, let me keep quiet. I don't want problem, let me keep quiet." One day that sink will be filled up with so much dirty plates. And then you have maggots, you have smell, you have a lot of dirty things, so bad that you can't even enter the kitchen without running out. And so the day is so much, you explode. And so when you explode, it's a matter of, "Oh, what did I do? Why are you so angry?" The reason why I'm angry is not what you have just done. The reason why I'm angry is I've piled up so much. And so now I'm not even attracted to you because of so many things that comes to my head when I look at you. You see so many people, "Oh, I'm horny. I'm in the mood. I can't wait for him to get home."
Yeah.
And the moment the man walks through the door and you see him, that horniness disappears. You remember all the things he's done, why you are angry with him, why you think he doesn't love you, and you're no longer horny. But you've been waiting for this man all day. You
Let's
wanted him all day.
let's expatiate on that a bit. So you're saying that the emotions that you feel as an individual towards somebody, maybe enmity or maybe there's a fight or something, you say that also can affect sex drive?
It does affect, it's not also. It's most times the major issue we have in marriage, emotions. We conclude, we tell ourselves what we think the other person is, right? I look at Fola and I feel, "See the way he just walked past me now, he doesn't love me anymore." But probably Fola in his head, his mind was just not there. Probably every time he passes, he hits my bum, right? But because he has passed in the last 2 days, he didn't touch me. I conclude to say, "Oh, he doesn't love me anymore." Rather than me asking, "Uncle, what happened? You just passed. You didn't even notice me." Right? I jump into conclusions that, "Oh, because he has a new secretary, probably he's not seeing me anymore." And so we start to build houses in our head and start to live out the mindset of what we have in reality. And we start to cause issues. Not that sometimes whatever you think of isn't the truth, but a lot of times assumption has destroyed so many things.
So let me get straight to it. So if you're going to advise such a couple, because what I pick
Mm.
from it is, are you saying that communication is very, very key? Like communicating almost on a regular basis. If there's an issue that's in your mind, say it on time. And if there's a way you want to be loved, or you want your sex life to be, or the practical things you want in your sex life, like make sure it's out there. Sit down and talk to your partner. Is that the what I'm getting from this?
Yes, that's part of it. And I also want to say that a lot of times we expect our partners to love us a certain way. Now, let's not forget, whilst courting, everybody in that relationship, both partners, always put their good foot forward. So
Yes.
when you're dating me, right, you always want to come check up on me
Mm-hmm.
during lunchtime, regardless of how busy you are. You want to send me a message. Oh, I miss you. Oh, I'll call you back later. Oh, I'm going for a meeting now. You are updating me. You are letting me know that, oh, babe, I'm going for a meeting now. When I'm done, I'll give you a call. Oh, babe, today has been so busy, but I'll call you back. But then we get married and you tell me, oh God, I was busy all through. I didn't
I
remember.
do remember.
But uncle, you used to be busy when we're dating now,
Mm.
right? Now, it's no longer I can't do without her. It's now I own her. So I don't have to stress, right? It's now, oh, he's my husband. So why do I have to call him and check up on him? He knows I'm home, he's fine. But the man wants to feel loved, right? So I always tell people, you see, what you get before marriage is totally different. Delete everything. When you marry, you now have to start to lay the foundation of what you
You
want because
want.
reality will set in, right? So, which means that if I want a date and my husband does not think he has the time for a date, so let me give you an example.
Okay.
I remember into marriage, I think I've been married for almost 13 years now, right?
Wow.
13, 14 years thereabout. So I remember, like, I think 5, 6 years into our marriage, I realized that, okay, I had my baby, I've got the second baby, and I felt my husband was having the fun. From work, guys, night out, they are doing one promo in their office, they are doing one thing. And I'm like, I'm always home. When we're dating and when I had my first baby, any event in his office, babe, let's go, babe, let's go. Now I had the baby, second baby, and I'm always home. He has never said, oh, babe, and I'm
Let's
feeling
go.
like, okay, is it that I'm no longer presentable? I'm no longer this. But I want dates. Let's just go out on it. I've missed the date, right? And I told him, I said, it's been a long time. Can we bring back the dates? And then my husband said, babe, Monday to Friday, I'm always busy. Most times I even come back late. So when I come back, I want to rest. Saturdays, sometimes I'm even out or I come back Saturday morning and I want to sleep. Sunday is the only time I get to rest. So now going out from our home to the island to go for a date does not look possible to me because Sunday I really want to go to church, come back and sleep, knowing that the whole week I'm going to be busy all through. Sunday is the only time I get to sleep. Saturday partly, but Sunday is the time I get to sleep well. And it became an issue. So for me, it was not about him being busy. It was about him not creating time
Time.
for me, right? Now, this man has explained his Monday to Friday, Saturday and Sunday. But to me, that was not enough because even whilst we were dating or when we got married, you were so busy, but you still created time.
We created time.
Now, what did I do? I realized I was getting so angry over it. He didn't see it that way because for me, every Friday became a problem to me because every Friday I know he's going to be out
But it's
with the
it's his
guys.
office, right? Like it's just hanging with the
His job.
friends.
His job brings him home 3 a.m., 4 a.m. That's his job. Sometimes they give him a list of places to go to. So he will mark different places in a particular area and he has to be there. So he has to visit 5, 6 places in one night.
Wow.
Right? So I have this list. I know this has to do with his work, but I need him to create my time in this period. Right? So what did we do? I realized that, okay, Soul Spice, if you don't create your date, you probably will never have a date again. Because it was not my husband wanting date, it was me who wanted the date. So what I did was, on Wednesdays, my kids close late. They close by 3:30, right? And I realized that his lunch hour in the office was 2. Monday to Friday close 2, but Wednesdays they do extracurricular activities, so they close 3:30. So guess what? Because at that point in time, I was a full-time housewife. I will dress up on Wednesday by 1 o'clock. I would wear my makeup. I would look good. I would drive to his office to pick him up for lunch because his lunchtime is 2. I'll pick him up by 2. We have just 30 minutes, Fola. We'll drive to an eatery, sit down for 30 minutes. We would eat together. I'll take him back to the office and I'll drive home. That was my date. I had to create my date. Right? It was just 30 minutes. But you see, that Wednesday 30 minutes gave me life. Because I realized that when we are together, it's no longer about the kids. It's not about what's the plan. It's about us. Right? I would dress so well. You think I'm one boxed up chick. I'm going somewhere. You think, probably I'm going for a meeting. And then after some weeks, 1 month, 2 months, I wasn't interested again because I felt I wanted the date.
Okay.
Right. I asked for the date. I started the date. But at the point I felt he wasn't asking me to come to his office. It was me going. I wanted him to ask me. I wanted to feel like he wanted me to come. And so I stopped for like 2 weeks. I didn't bother. And guess what? His colleagues started yabbing him. Your wife is not coming today. No dates today. So your wife would not come today. And so my husband called me and said, oh, you didn't come last week. You didn't come today. What happened? I said, because you never asked me to come. And he looked at me like, ask you to come. You wanted to come. You have always wanted to come. So why do you now need me to ask you to come? I said, because I want to feel like you also want this, not me. And so I realized that when he's going to work on Wednesdays, he will tell me, babe, I'll be available today. See you by 2, right? And so he told me, oh, babe, today I won't be available. I won't be in the office. So no date today. But you see, that created something for us. And trust me, 13 years down the line, we still do our dates every Tuesday.
Wow.
Every Tuesday, except when he's not in town, right? So what am I trying to say? Sometimes you have to bring out that thing you want because you expect your partner to do it. They probably will never know. One of the things I also realized when we got married, where I come from in my family, when you pick a call and you want to go off the line, you always say, I love you. So I tell my mom, I love you. I tell my sisters, I love you. Anybody, I can even tell you, oh, love you, thank you, bye, see you later. Love you was a normal thing for us in my home.
Where you come from.
But where my husband came from, there's never a word like law, like how. I remember once I was talking to his mom and I said, oh, can't you just tell your mom love you? Like, excuse you, is she my girlfriend? Why would I say love you to my mom? And so that also became another problem in our marriage. Because for every time I cut the line, he never says love you. And so sometimes when I go off the line, I will call him back to say, you didn't tell me love you. I'm also like, but you said love. I'm like, no, but I need you to say it back. And I remember one particular day, he called me and he said, love you. And I didn't respond. And my husband called me back and said, shout, I love you. I want to be sure you are saying it. And for crying out, I was in public. And I had to start saying, I love you. I was like, no, I can't hear you. Shout it. Let the whole world know that you're telling your husband you love him. This was what I created. But at the point in I was like, well, I beg. I love you. Right? Yeah. And so for us, right, and for so many couples, you have to create those boundaries. You have to create those rules. What are your rules in your home? What are those things that even when I'm not talking to you, even when I don't care about you, even when I'm so angry with you, we still have to do as a couple? For us, it's even when I'm fighting with him, if he's going to work, we must get a goodbye kiss.
Wow.
Fola, we are not talking. We are not talking. You cannot touch me. Don't talk to me. But you see, we must give that goodbye kiss. And so for me, even when I'm angry with him and I miss his touch because I don't want to be the one to apologize or I don't want to be the one to go, I look forward to that morning kiss. That, okay, at least maybe I will kiss him in the morning. That will sustain me pending when we solve this issue. And on the days we both get angry, it's okay, we're not kissing. Sometimes my kids will say, oh, Daddy did not kiss Mommy. I think they are fighting. And we are forced to kiss because for us, our fight is ours. We don't bring it to where the kids are. Even though my daughter will be like, Mommy is in the Daddy's in the parlor. Both of you are fighting. Mommy, are you people fighting? I'm like, no, it's a lie. You are not beside your husband, you are fighting. What did you do? Are you the one that caused the trouble? You are the troublesome person. My daddy did not do anything. Better go and apologize to your husband now. So the truth is you have to create those boundaries and you have to create that marriage in a way that your kids will look forward to say, oh, I can't wait to get married. But the moment you have your children telling you, God forbid I get married, look back at what both of you are doing. Something is wrong. These kids don't learn by what you say. They learn by what they see. So it goes a long way. We need to learn to live our truth, but then we have to live it right.
let's get really really practical now, because
Mm.
one of the reasons why people divorce is not the only reason, but when I was researching, one of the reason is because of lack of intimacy, which is sex. So that
Yeah.
means we cannot overstate the importance of sex in marriages. So let's get practical, because what you said,
So I want to pause there, Paula.
okay,
You'll be shocked that intimacy really does not mean sex. It's going to shock you.
yes, does not only mean sex. Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
A
Physical
lot of times
intimacy
it's the
might
touch.
not.
He's not
Right.
touching me. He's not seeing me. He's not holding my hand. He
He's
didn't
not
give me a hug.
complimenting
You
me.
see, those things are the things that kill the relationship, and then sex is the end
It's the
product.
end product. Yeah, because it was not explicitly written as sex is the reason,
Yeah.
but it was written
Mhm.
as intimate, physical
Yeah.
intimacy, which you're correct.
Yeah.
It might not necessarily be sex,
Mhm.
but if you do these things right, it leads to sex, right? If you don't do it right,
Yeah.
then there
There's no
there
sex.
won't be sex, and if there's no sex, you begin to break apart. Now,
There's,
this
there's
is
no
the
marriage.
question for you, Anna, being someone who's an expert in this field. You talked so much about bringing solution to the table, because I see a lot of marriages where it's always the complaint. My husband doesn't look at
Mm.
me. My husband is not looking at me. My husband doesn't love me anymore. My husband doesn't. But we men and women will think differently. I mean, you're talking from the perspective of a woman. I'm talking from the perspective of a man. We can compartmentalize. Men, we can put things in boxes. My marriage, my career, and we treat them once they are in front of us, right? Okay, now I'm at work. I'm facing my work. But as women, you guys don't do that. Now, what I see you say is that you need to create the experience you want to have in your marriage. For example, your husband doesn't have your time. Do you look at his schedule and create time in it? Do you do things deliberately?
Yeah.
That's what I see you saying, and I hope that's what somebody is speaking up, who's saying that my husband doesn't care about me anymore since we came to Canada or since we've been in the US. I'm sure he's been dating somebody else. I'm sure he's sleeping around. If you're not sure, that is, but you're guessing because it's not touching you. I know people can sit down and really trace it back to when that problem started. And if you really look at it, you are also part of the problem. You might
Of course.
also be part of the problem. Or even
Oh,
if
you
you're
are
not,
part of the problem.
even if you're not part of the problem, guess what? Why don't you look for solution? Right? Why can't we look at the holistic thing and say, okay, if it's free at 2:30 and my kids are free, look for solution. And that's what I see you saying. I just wanted to hammer on that a bit before I ask you the practical question. The practical question now is, because I see that we've spoken a lot, what is what as a Christian home? And I know in my mind when I was writing this question, I was thinking, should I be asking Anna this question, or should I be asking a pastor this question? But it doesn't matter, because what I wanted to say is there a boundary to how you want to sexually? I mean, let's go past what we've said before. Now the couple make they're having sex, they're happy, but the man wants to explore some things, not extreme, but the man wants to explore some things. So I mean, because I've heard people say, "Oh, my wife only likes missionary. As oh, I can't. There's no other this thing with it." Yeah, stories like that. Is it right in a Christian home to explore some other things? Maybe sex toys. Maybe between in the boundaries of your home. What would you say to that?
So let's bring it from the Bible, right? If you read the Bible very well, we have only one rule to sex in the Bible. God gave us just one rule to sex in the Bible. Nothing else. And what's this rule? Consent. Right? Which means that whatever you want to do in the four walls of your home, I'm not saying bedroom now, I'm saying in the four walls of your home, because sex could be anywhere, right? The Bible said you both have to agree. Both have to agree, which means I have to consent to whatever it is you want to do to my body. Let's not forget, my body belongs to you. Your body belongs to me.
That's what they tell us when we take
So,
the vows, right?
So if I own your body, I should be able to say, okay, this body, I would like to do this to this body. But you see, the soul in that body must agree to what I want to do to that body that belongs to me. Right? Now, we also have the mindset that sex is supposed to be behind closed doors. That's what they have sold to us. That's what they have groomed us with. That's how
Lock your bedroom.
we have been programmed, over the years. But I put it to you that the only chapter in the Bible, the only book of the Bible that talks about sex is unconsciously being taken away by so many churches. They don't want to read that chapter. They don't want to. They most times read it during Valentine's period. Ask yourself, how many times have you heard your pastor, heard so many pastors online, when they are preaching, they say, oh, Songs of Songs, chapter,
Songs of Solomon.
I can bet it's a whole lot you won't hear. If you hear it is 1%, less than 1%, sorry. Right? Now, in this book of life that we're talking about, have you taken your time to read how sex was done in that book? Have you taken your time to realize that it was never about penetration in that book? It was more about the romance. Sex in that chapter, in that book, was not even done behind closed doors. It was done in the garden, in the vineyard. So which means the God we serve is an adventurous God. There is no place where you read, oh, and he did it in the room, the door was locked. You won't find that in the Bible. What you find in the Bible is how they explain the body structure, how the body is supposed to make you feel. Let her neck make you feel this way. Let her boobs make you feel this way. Let this happen. They broke down romance to you. That even when you read those words and you close your eyes to bring it to life, you probably will get wet. That's what the book does, right? And you find out that they connect our body to nature, to sun, to the moon. It is not connected to fan or door. Right? And so we do not even have sex. Like I said in the beginning, we don't have sex the way we're created to have sex. If you're having headache, right? Your head is aching you. They give you paracetamol. You take pills and you're okay with it, right? Now, why do you wear your clothes if you were born naked? Are we saying God does not know what he's doing? Are we saying we are better off, that we decide to cover up, right? We wear clothes to look good. We wear clothes to enhance our beauty. We wear our wigs, to make ourselves look good. Does not mean we are saying God didn't create us well or he didn't do a good job. It's just part of it. We wear shoes, right? We use jewelry. So why can't we use sex toys? Why is sex toy a problem? Because it has to do with intimacy. You can use a lot of things. You can bring in a lot of things. We buy cars as much as we can. It's not a problem. But you see, when it comes to everything sexual, we always connect to the devil. But we forget that sexuality is one of God's strongest connection to us. I tell people, if you're not in the mood for prayer, if you're trying to pray and you're not connecting, pray during sex. Don't even bother praying. Just, when you get to that point and you cannot control yourself, you start to say certain things that you don't even understand. You start to speak in tongues. You find out that during sex, you call God like he's your mate. Oh, yes, God. Oh, Jesus. Oh, God, this is it. You sing unnecessarily. You speak in tongues. Sometimes you cry. Sometimes you laugh. It is only sex that can take you to that closest level of act of worship. No other thing. And then you tell me that, it has to be done behind closed doors. No, why can't I do it on my couch? Why can't I just stay at my balcony and connect with the moon? Why can't I go under the rain and look up in the sky and get it hot? There are no rules. As long as I'm doing it in the four walls of my marriage, It doesn't matter where. As long as I'm not doing it to hurt other people or doing it in front of other people, it doesn't matter how. The main thing is, are we both okay with what we are doing? If we say, oh, I'm not getting an orgasm, and then, or we say, my husband's penis is not getting full erection, and the doctor says, get a cock ring, let him wear a cock ring so the vibration can help his blood flow, and then he will get full erection. Are we going to say it's a problem if the cock ring is the solution to our sexuality? If the cock ring is a solution to our pleasure as Christians, no, it's not going to be a problem. See, let me give you another bad example. A lot of times they tell you masturbation is bad as Christians, is what we read. We hear it everywhere. But you see, it's only bad because we do it for pleasure. But guess what, Fola? Masturbation is not bad when you go for IVF as a Christian.
When they ask you
and they tell the man to masturbate.
Yeah.
So why is it bad for someone who wants pleasure or someone who is doing with her husband or with his wife, right? Why is it bad? But not bad for that man who is doing it because doctor says she should do it. And let's not forget, sometimes in some clinics, they put you in a room, they put on porn for you to watch, to put you in the mood.
If you're having issues.
Don't forget, during masturbation for IVF, you can't give head because they don't want bacteria. So the best you can do for your partner is to use your hand, right? Or the partner has to watch soft porn, or the partner has to create something, or you have to be there. And you can't even have sex to get the sperm. It has to be nothing in contact. And so as Christians, it is not a problem when a pastor is in need of a child and he goes for IVF and is being asked to masturbate. It is not a sin. But it's a sin when Soul Spice decides to masturbate with her husband for pleasure. Who are we deceiving?
I mean, these are really practical things that you're talking about here, and that's why I actually wanted to bring this conversation, because of course we're not going to talk about this on the pulpit because it's not something that, but I've always strongly believed that at a point we have to start breaking down this conversation, because trust me, I've spoken to a lot of families that the issue is basically sex. And but let me advocate for the strong conservative Christians here and say, well, when you begin to allow for those things to come in to the home, then there is no limit to it. Then it begins to get worse and worse, and then who knows what you're going to be asking for later. Now you're asking for us to do it in the garage when the children are not there. You're taking it too far. Why can't we just stay in the room and enjoy ourselves? What I think you're saying is that's fine if that's the way your own family wants to do it between you and your husband. Like you said, it's a consent. If you're okay with that sexuality within your home, then it's fine. But if you feel a little bit creative, and I mean, you've used Song of Solomon, right? And if you read that Bible verse, which we don't read a lot, I mean, I've been a Christian for years now. I don't think we read Song of Solomon in the churches I've been to maybe more than 2 times. And even the Song of Solomon we read is not those ones that say, and I looked upon your breast, and stuff like that. That is not being read. But if you don't teach these things in the spaces where people are comfortable to talk like this, they will learn it somewhere else. And that's why you find that men will come home and they're conservative with their wives, but they have one side chick somewhere that is giving them the things that they really want. Right? So, let's talk. Number one thing that I'll take away from this is, as a family, always communicate. If there's something that is in your mind that you want to talk about when it comes to sex in your home, if there are things you want to try, you don't have to accept it, but always communicate with each other and say, can we try, this style? Can we try this style? Oh, it didn't work. I don't think this worked for us. That's fine. But at least you're trying something, avoiding one of you looking out or having things in your mind that, if say for example, one of your spouse travels, they're like, this thing I've been thinking, I've not been able to talk to my wife about it. Maybe I should try it now that she's not around. These things happen, and these things break home. Because one of the things that I also read about breaking home is, check it, infidelity. Did we lose her? Infidelity is one of the things that breaks home. Number two is let me open it, because I want to be absolutely sure, because I read it and it said infidelity, but guess what? It's also when the other spouse is beginning to feel like my spouse is not touching me, he or she must be getting it somewhere else. So even thinking about it and say something is wrong in this relationship can make you even lose your home, right? So I believe strongly, because I've spoken to quite a lot of people, that if you don't talk about sex in your home, if you're having great sex, it's great, honestly. If you feel like your missionary style is the best for you and your spouse, that is absolutely fine. But if you feel genuinely that I feel like I think we should spice up our marriage, I think we should. As long as you're having that conversation between you and your spouse, and you're agreeing to try, because guess what? This things makes you even happy in your home. Now, because our time is really running, I don't know, this time, I'd like to quickly ask, what would you suggest, to people listening, watching right now, couples watching right now, what would you suggest to be stuff that they can try, in their homes?
So first thing first, see a therapist. Trust me. Your pastor cannot solve it. And I remember telling the client last week, I said, there is a reason why we say prayer is the key. But you see, prayer will not open all doors. In as much as you use a key, you still have to use your hand to open the door.
Prayer is the key, right?
And so,
but your hand,
even when you pray, exactly. Even when you pray,
to grab the key,
right?
And open the
some keys, when you open the key, right? You can use the key to open the door, but not all doors. There are some doors that even when you open the key, you still have to use your hand to open the door. If not, it will not open. Which means that there is a place for prayer. There's a place for practical. There's a place for reality, right? You want to penetrate. You are not doing it. You are not putting in the right one. You are praying. You are kabashing. Holy Spirit, help me. But Holy Spirit will not come down and insert it. You have to go and learn which hole and how to insert it. Then Holy Spirit will not help you, right? So therapy is a must. See a sex therapist. Don't go to your pastor who is not certified.
He's not certified.
They can't help you. They will tell you to pray. You have been praying. I had a client, and I remember she reached out to me 2 years ago to say, so surprised. I just got married 6 months ago. And so she has what we call vaginismus, where the vagina wall shuts down and they cannot penetrate. And so 6 months into our marriage, she reached out and said, see what I'm going through. And I said, this is the problem, right?